Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the Fridays on Excellence show, where we dig into 6 areas of life and see what we can find to become more excellent. My name is Scott Kokenauer and I'm your host, and I'm so glad you have taken time out to tune in. We are currently recording live on Facebook and YouTube and live on Clubhouse as well. If you're on Clubhouse, just search for Serving Strong, join the room entitled Health and Wellness Conversation going on right now. Those of you listening on a podcast, welcome to you as well. Let's dive right into our first segment of the show, the 3 coaching questions. Question number 1, what is your definition of health? Number 2, how has the pandemic changed your exercise? How has the pandemic changed your exercise? And number 3, what could you do to increase your health? Those are the 3 questions. Their power is in how you keep them front of mind all week long until we get together next week. So I encourage you to write them down, keep them visible, write them on a 3x5 card, keep them with you every day. Tack them to your computer screen if you are on a bunch of Zoom meetings. Tack it on your dashboard if you're doing DoorDash. Whatever you can do, keep those 3 questions in front of you all week long. So let's get right into the next segment of the show. The next segment of the show is the 2 pillars. 2 pillars of excellence. We're going to talk about the 2 pillars. I had the opportunity to speak with Sean Lord yesterday in a recorded conversation, a little lengthier, and we talked about these pillars. We talked about health and about wellness. I'm going to share a segment of that conversation for you as the presentation of our 2 pillars, and let's get started. Our first pillar in this segment on physical excellence is health and wellness, is the be and do. Now let me explain. In reading again from the National Institutes of Health, in understanding the difference between health and wellness, in short, health is a state of being, whereas wellness is the state of living a healthy lifestyle. Health refers to physical, mental, social well-being. Wellness aims to enhance well-being. So it's when I'm healthy, when I consider myself healthy, that's like a state of being. Do you think it's going too far to say health is the end goal?
Not necessarily. I think that's, you ask anybody, they would say, yeah, I want to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely the goal.
Yeah, that is a goal. And it's interesting. Whereas health is the state of being, wellness is the activity. It's the behavior, which is kind of going right into the next pillar, which I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. So the second pillar is environments and behaviors are the external and internal of physical excellence. According to the WHO, not the group, the primary determinants of health include the social, economic, and physical environments and the person's individual characteristics and behaviors. So we're talking about environments that are healthy and behaviors that are healthy. So we need to put ourselves in healthy environments. What are our healthy environments? You know, is it being in a nursery with a bunch of kids? What do you think are some healthy environments that we're talking about?
I think that depends on the person and the goal, right? If my goal is to lose weight, and my constant behaviors are to get home from work, sit on the couch, and snack all day, well, that's not a healthy environment that is conducive to my long-term goal. So if my goal is to lose weight, the environment I need to put myself in removes the barrier to that goal. So I need to find ways to get off the couch. I need to find ways to be more active and to snack less. So an environment that encompasses is going to be a healthy environment.
So that's interesting because, and I hadn't thought of this before until you mentioned that, healthy environments don't always exist. We can go to the gym. That is an existing environment. Or we could create an environment. Like I could go downstairs right now into the kitchen and I could remove all of the chips, right?
Yes.
So my kitchen becomes more of a healthy environment, but I had to choose that. You talk about sitting on the couch. Move the couch, make it upright. So you cannot physically sit on the couch. So make things difficult.
I think that was a healthy lesson from quarantine time, right? I mean, a lot of us may not have been able to get out or to go to a gym. And we had to turn the environments that were not conducive to our healthy goals into the ones that were. Online videos that we now turn our living room that was our relaxation station before into a healthy environment,
Wow, that's exactly right. Now there's the Corona effect, right? I'm listening to a book. I just finished it, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't know who the author is, but the book was called Post-Corona.
Okay.
Fascinating book, fascinating read, in my opinion. And one of the last things he talked about in the book was how our environment has removed the stop. It's removed okay, let's stop and pause and move on to something else. Think about it. TikTok is an endless stream of videos. My wife and I are in the middle of this series called Call the Midwife. Fascinating video series on BBC. What I've noticed is it's on Netflix, and they don't just end an episode. That episode goes to the corner and it tells you the next one's coming up in 15 seconds, 14, 13, 12, 11. They've removed the stop. So what we have to do is be aware that we have to be the ones to create the stop. Especially in a post-corona, we are getting so used to sitting for long periods of time. That was eye-opening to me. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I love that whole thought process, and oftentimes really when we're trying to challenge ourselves or somebody's challenging us to do something, what I've found out is we often have a reason why we can't do that, right? One thing people make fun of me for on a consistent basis, I get up at 4 a.m. every day except for maybe Saturday. That's my one day of sleeping in a little bit. And people have asked me, why do I do that? And how do I do it? And when I explain it, I'm constantly getting told, well, I could never do that because, and they fill in the blank, right? And I was once that person, and I could never get up at 4 a.m. because sleep or because whatever it might be. And what I've really come to learn is we have two options when faced with a new goal, a new challenge, and that is give in to the excuses, the I can never because language, or create opportunities for ourselves. And when I'm talking somebody through what it might look like to get up earlier to go to the gym or to read or whatever their goal might be, I explain to them my alarm is not set right next to my bed. I don't have a bedside table. My phone, my alarm is set on the windowsill 6 feet from where I'm sleeping because I physically get up and turn it off. And then I'm already up at that point. So then it's the decision of, well, I'm already up. It's easy to just keep going. I set the coffee pot the night before. So the coffee is already ready and the cup is set out when I get up. My gym clothes and all the books or homework I'm going to be reading, I set out the night before. So if I get up and I am tired, everything is already done and ready to go. And it's just me making the decision in that second of taking the step to do it. And what I've removed all the excuses for myself that I might have and created all the opportunities for success.
Yeah, and man, you're making things fire in my brain, and I want to go in 14 directions, but I'm going to pick two. By the way, Post Corona was written by Scott Galloway.
Okay, it's good to know. I'm gonna write them down.
I don't know why I didn't remember. It's got a great name. Anyway, yeah, what you are referring to is making a new habit easy. There's no reason a habit has to be difficult.
That's correct.
And again, I'm reading a lot of things. Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yes.
If you haven't gotten that and read that, you have got to read it. It's been on New York bestseller business book list for months and months. Only a couple of months it's not been the first, it's been the second. Fascinating book. And it's just basically taking the triggers, the things that we do to create habits, and he picks on all four of those stages and says, make it easy, make it obvious. And when you say put the alarm clock away from reach where you have to get up, that's just a little technique. He uses another thing called habit stacking. So if you're trying to memorize a scripture or you're trying to study for a test, stack on top of brushing your teeth. It's something you do all the time anyway. So while I'm brushing my teeth, I will blah, blah, blah. When I'm brewing coffee in the morning, I recite scripture that I'm memorizing. So I'm not going to stop brewing coffee. I may stop brushing my teeth, but I'm not going to stop brewing coffee. And so I will stack a habit on top of that. It's called habit stacking. And so now we are having heard those things about health and wellness. I want to take us into the third and final segment of the show, which is the takeaway. Now, for the takeaway, I'm going to share another excerpt of my conversation with Sean Lord yesterday, because I think it's really important. We kind of referred to this in our conversations in the past, how important action is to learning new things. You have got to act on this. That's why we have a takeaway. We have 3 coaching questions. We have 2 pillars of excellence. And then we have 1 takeaway. So here we go. I'm going to show this segment as well. This idea of saying, I could never get up at 4. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Wasn't that Henry Ford?
Yep.
What's going on behind the scenes is our non-conscious never backs down from a question. So it's going to work on a question until it is answered. So if I say, why can't I get up at 4 a.m? Your brain is going to go back through all the files and say, well, you failed here when you were 12. And then, here's another thing. Yeah. Here's why you can't, because you're a lazy bum. There you go. So it builds the case to answer the question that you've asked yourself. Right. Why can't I do that? That's the downside. The upside is all you have to do is change the question. Because if the non-conscious doesn't back down from a question, change the question. How could I get up at 4 a.m?
That's great.
And so it goes back to those files and says, well, you succeeded here. So, and starts building a case to answer the question, how could I?
That's incredible. Even in, like, if you're thinking about getting up early, right? There's probably a time in everybody's life where they've gotten up at 4 a.m. to take a family member to the airport. Mm-hmm. And you could easily look at that one of 2 ways. The negative side of that is I did do it, but I was so tired and I needed 2 cups of coffee to do it. And it ruined the day because I didn't go to bed early enough before. Or you could look at that as, and I got up at 4 a.m. Like, I could have slept through my alarm. Anything could have happened, but I did it. And I was able to get the family to the airport, right? And then you could start unpacking, well, yeah, sure, maybe I was a little tired, but what could I have done to set myself up to make that easier next time? And that's basically what you're talking through right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and look at the elements of taking a loved one to the airport. There's built-in accountability. I always try, if there's something I want to get done, I I take it off the to-do list and I put it on my calendar. Because when you have a calendar appointment, you're less likely to miss it. So there's an accountability partner in that, because if they miss a flight, it's on you, right? So that's one of the biggest things, is having a partner that you can check in with on a regular basis. And all of this we're talking about as a behavior for health. If you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, I could never become healthy, I want to encourage you to change the statement, change the question. How can I be healthy? So that is our takeaway. Just change the question that you're asking yourself. Realize that you are saying, why can't I? How come it's so difficult for me to do X? Change the question. Get your mind working on the right answer to the right question. That's your takeaway. This has been another episode of the Fridays on Excellence show, where we dig into 6 areas of life and see what we can find to become more excellent. My name is Scott Kokenauer. I am so glad that you've taken out time out to tune in. I'll see you next week.